You guys have seen me rebuild the worst team in Scotland, so today we are back to rebuild the worst team in Wales. Now, I had a couple of options here between two, and I have gone for Abergavenny because if we have a look at them in-game, you can see here they are currently first in the second tier in the JD Cymru South, but they do have ones for absolutely everything: training facilities, youth facilities, junior coaching, and youth recruitment. They are valued at an estimated value of £12,000. They are semi-professional and they play at the Penway Pound Stadium, as you can see here. That picture quality not very good, but we are in the second tier of Welsh football, and our goal in this save is to ultimately take this team to the top of Welsh football, turn them professional, and then maybe see what we can do in continental competition. Obviously, you see TNS in continental competition every single season in the qualification campaigns because they finish top of the Welsh League. We need to get there first and foremost, though. So if you take a look at things, as you can see, we are in the Cymru South, and we are currently one of the worst teams in the division. The other worst team was this team, and I can't pronounce it, so we will be going with Abergavenny because at least then I can say the team's name. They both had the same level of facilities. If we take a look at the season preview, we are now slightly better than the worst team in the division, but we have just been promoted. So it was between one of the three promoted teams. I went for Abergavenny because it was the one that I could say, and we are going to see what we can do. As you can see, the competition that we are currently in has the reputation of 179th, which I don't even know if I can get that far down in this particular table. 179th. So we are next to the North Macedonian Third League and the Belfast Telegraph Championship 2. We're quite far down. We've got a lot of work to do. To do this, we are going to be using GYR's Master of Puppets. I will leave a link to G's tactic down in the description below, because we're going to need an absolute tried and tested tactic for this. But I will say we do have issues. So like if I look at Owen Taylor here, he is my best player at this particular level. 8s and 9s majority across the board. He's a defensive midfielder. He's got 12 for first touch, 12 for natural fitness. He is out of contract because we are semi-professional. I can't give him another contract. So basically, a lot of our players can leave whenever a better offer comes in. If we quick pick without restriction our best 11, this is our best 11. So as you can see, we're drastically missing centre backs. We don't have any at all, really. So maybe we have to go out and see if we can pick up a centre back or two. If we go into the competitions, we've got lots of competitions, guys. We've got the Tier 2 League Cup, this MG Cup as well as like a League Cup, the Welsh Cup, and then obviously the league. The board wants us to get into the top half of the league, then basically be competitive in these other competitions. Let's see how season 1 goes in the second tier of Welsh football. Okay, so season 1 is done and dusted, and sadly we didn't get promoted, but we did actually finish much higher than I thought we were going to. We finished in 3rd in the division, which is not the end of the world. We finished in 3rd. We will go again next year. I've kind of got my head around how this is supposed to go just a little bit. We actually did really, really well in the cup competitions, which is actually really, really nice to see. We actually got to the semi-finals of the Welsh Cup where we lost to TNS, or the New Saints, 4-3, which is actually a really, really good showing. Don't forget, we are a semi-professional team at this point. We got to the 3rd round of this cup as well, where unfortunately we come up against TNS again, where we lose 3-0. We did win the Tier 2 League Cup, though. We get to the final of that one where we take on Buckley in that final, and George Harry with 2 goals in that game for us, including this winner. He's not very good, George Harry, but bodies are bodies at this particular level. In terms of the league, though, we finish in a 3-way tie, basically. Carmarthen Town, ourselves, and Barry Town all finish on 54 points. We're miles behind the league leaders, as you would expect. Norton Ferreira is our best player, though. He looks quite good. Former Newport City striker, has a bit of pace, a little bit of good ability off the ball, and he has 11 finishing. So at this level, he is basically a god. As you can see, though, he is wanted by several teams, a couple on transfers, a couple of end of contracts. We're going to try and see what we can do in terms of keeping hold of him. I'm not going to talk to you guys too much about the players because I don't think you're going to know them. So let's get through the summer window for season number 2 and see if we can get ourselves promoted. So season 2 is here, and as you can see, I have made a lot of transfers. We brought in a lot of players, all on free transfers, so hopefully improve this team as we try and move our way up the divisions in Welsh football. Obviously, I'm not going to go through every individual player, because if you see a name there that you recognise, massive shout out to them, but I have no idea, I'm sorry, who these lads are. If we go and quick pick without restriction, our best 11, Friera is still here. He's one of our better players alongside Joshua Bell. This guy's actually quite good. Was here last season, has 12 passing and really good physicals, again for the level, 24 years of age, but he is wanted, so we're going to have to see if we can keep hold of him. But yeah, the team's looking okay. We've actually got some central defenders this time around in Link Jones and Kieran Allen. Hopefully we can kind of move things forward. Massive shout out to this guy. I actually think he's going to be really, really good. My coaches aren't backing him though. They think he's really bad, but I think he's going to be okay going into the season. But a little bit more balanced, but there's no regularity at this level because obviously we are still semi-professional. Now, the biggest change this year I do have to talk about is that we are no longer in the Southern Division. I don't really know what's happened, but we are now in the Northern Division. If you look at where Abergavenny is on a map, hopefully Editor Connor can put it up now. Abergavenny's not in the north of Wales, so this is going to be really interesting. I think this is actually a positive for us. Yes, we are now predicted to finish in third, whereas if we look at the South Division, again, there's a couple of good teams in here, so hopefully moving into the Northern Division is a massive plus for us. If we go back to the competitions tab, the board wants us to get into the top half of the division. I want to get promoted this year. That is my goal. I want to be in the top flight of Welsh football. And then obviously we do have the 3 other cup competitions where they just want us to be competitive. Let's go and see if this switch into the Northern League was of benefit to this club. So guys, promotion was the goal, and promotion was achieved in season number 2. We have gone up into the top flight. We win the league by 11 points, finishing on 69 giggity. We beat Cowlin Bay to get to the top spot comfortably, and we'll be playing in the top flight next season. Basically, we've been top since game week 2, so we've been very comfortable this time around. Looks like the strengthening that we did do really did help us out. We got knocked out in the second round of the Welsh Cup. Rather disappointing after last year's semi-final performance. Got knocked out in the third round of the League Cup as well. And we got to the final of the Tier 2 League Cup. Obviously, we were the holders of that, and we lost it on penalties, which is rather disappointing, but ultimately not a competition we will be playing in next season because we've been promoted. Now, I will go on to the club information tab. We are still semi-professional at this point, but we have moved stadium to a brand new stadium. It is 1,500 in capacity, which is actually not too bad for a team at this level. They were founded in 2014, don't you know? If we have a look at the finances, though, as you can see, we're $4,500 in the red in terms of our overall balance. Our wage budget is increased drastically going into the top flight, so hopefully we can start nailing some players down to actual contracts so that if we do start losing them, they at least go for some money. Let's see what we can do for season number 3. So again, going into the transfer update for season number 3, I'm not going to stop basically and take a look at all of these players individually, but you can kind of see what I've been doing. I have been ripping players from teams in Wales left, right and Christmas, and we are now much more stacked and hopefully much more in a position where we can take to the Welsh top flight. If we quick pick without restriction our best 11, this is how the team is looking now. You can already see as well, I'm starting to have an eye on new gens as well. Obviously, we've got Brandon Cook as our right back. He is a new gen. He's not great, but he is a new gen. We've also got Andy James up front. He's a bit more of a target forward, good jumping reach, good heading and stuff like that. So we are starting to have an eye on potential players who will start making us some money. We've got some good players. We're happy in terms of the players that we've been able to bring in. Matt Richardson is a very good centre back for this particular tier. 10s in all the key attributes for being a defender in terms of his technicals. Mentally, he's pretty solid as well. So really happy to have this team in this particular shape. Hopefully we can push things forward. If we go into the competitions tab, obviously we don't have the Tier 2 Cup anymore because we are not in it. We do have the 2 domestic cup competitions, and we are in the Cymru Premier, where we are expected to fight against relegation. TNS have won it the last 3 years in the game. So if we take a look at the season preview, they are favourites to win the division again. We are 600 to 1 as one of the newly promoted teams. The other promoted team is 450 to 1. So hopefully we can at least survive. We're not the worst rated team in the division in season number 3. And yeah, fingers crossed we don't disgrace ourselves. So at the end of season 3, we were in our first season in the Welsh top flight, and we have managed to survive. Luckily, we do not go and get ourselves relegated. The two teams, or one of the teams that got promoted, they went straight back down, as did the other team who were predicted to finish bottom. They did finish bottom. Now we need to start looking at things though, because this division does separate into a championship and a losers bracket, because as you can see, Newtown and the team below them actually finished with less points than Haverfordwest and Pontypridd, but that is because they were basically playing all of us at the bottom, to be perfectly honest. But ultimately, we need to start paying attention to this. TNS qualify for the Champions League by winning the league, and the UEFA Conference League is where Connors Key go into, which is going to be really interesting to see how they actually do get on, because hopefully these guys can start improving the coefficient before I even have to worry about it. In terms of some of the other competitions, we got knocked out in the second round of the Welsh Cup, and we were knocked out in the second round of the MG Cup as well, which is rather disappointing. And looking at this coefficient for the Welsh Premier League, we are currently 109th in the European competition rankings, which if I scroll all the way down to 109th, you can see the sort of company that we're in. We're in the second tier of Serbia, is that? We got one of the Finnish leagues below, the Championnat amateur level in France, the German lower division, so you can still kind of see we've got a lot of work to do to kind of boost this league, and until we potentially get into continental competition ourselves, we are relying solely on everybody else. TNS win for the 4th season in a row, the 3rd actually in this particular save, but massive shout out to Andy James, first season in the top flight, 17 goals in the league, absolutely crushing it is the new gen, 19 in all comps, and a 7.04 average rating for him. A very good season for him. He is wanted by Aberystwyth Town, so we're going to have to see what actually happens with him. Looking at the finances though for the next season, obviously our wage budget is basically doubling again by the fact that we are staying in the division. We are 7 grand in the red now. We're just not very good at actually making money because our average attendance is not great. So we're going to see what we can do for season number 4, keep hold of as many players as humanly possible, but it's going to be a problem because we are still semi-professional. Here we go then, guys. We have basically made some really good signings for season number 4. We've had a couple of players leave the club. We've had 5 players depart. Obviously, several players come in. What's that? 5, 6, 7, 8 players come in, including some very interesting new gens. Now, I am going to say we are trying to improve season on season, so I'm not giving people massively long contracts, but obviously we are trying to see what we can do in terms of actually keeping good quality players at our club. If I quick pick without restriction, this is how the team is looking, and this is actually one of the players that I'm actually really excited about. Adam Hare, former Coventry City new gen, looks like a very good prospect, really highly rated, 5-star potential on the boy as well, as is this guy here, Dylan Lawler, former Cardiff City player. So you can kind of see where we're going now. Now we're at a certain level where we can attach ourselves to certain clubs in league football in England and maybe pick up some of their cast-offs. Dylan Lawler looks like a very good player, comes in, he's probably my best player alongside Ben Mason, our new right back, who again come out of AFC Wimbledon, and then we've also got Luke Burton, who is a former Carmarthen or Shrewsbury Town player. So you can kind of see the players that we are kind of looking for, obviously cast-offs from some of these players. We've also picked up the big man Carl Hudlin. He comes in at 6'9", 18 jumping reach. He's just kind of a battering ram. Should we need something a bit different, it's nice to have this type of player if you need it. I think he could be relatively decent if we need to call on him for set pieces or just to be a big tree to hit balls up to. In terms of the cup competitions, they want us to be competitive, much the same again, and the board expects us to avoid relegation in season number 4. The coefficient's taken a nice little jump. We've gone from 109th to 107th. Cheers, lads. If we take a look at the season preview though, we are predicted to just about stay up. We are predicted to finish in 10th, 300 to 1. TNS are basically predicted to win the division yet again, so we're going to have to see how many places we can gain here. I'd love to finally get into that championship group, even if once we get there we just get absolutely annihilated. Let's see what we can do in season number 4. Okay, so we're going to start looking straight at the league table in season number 4 because we were actually involved in a little bit of a playoff. Now, Connors Quay win the title, which is fair play to them. This is the first time they've won it in 4 years, so massive shout out to them. Bala Town came in third, and the New Saints came in, Bala Town came in second, New Saints came in third, and Haverfordwest beat us in the European Places playoff. We've massively improved. We do have a -4 goal difference, but we are pretty comfortably 5th as well. Absolutely nowhere near the relegation zone, which is absolutely buzzing to see. But let's talk about this European Places playoff. So basically, we went into the semi-finals where we took out Newtown. Haverfordwest beat Cardiff Met Uni. Yes, we're playing against university sides. And then we get into the European Places playoff where we get into that final, and obviously we lose to Haverfordwest. In extra time, I must add, Ash McCarthy getting the decisive goal in the 117th minute as well. So it was imminently going to go to penalties, but they did unfortunately get the job done. They go into the European Places. We miss out this season, so they will be in the Europa Conference League alongside TNS and Bala Town next season. So again, more teams, more coefficient points up for grabs, which I'm kind of okay with. If we have a look at the other competitions, so we've got knocked out in the 3rd round of the Welsh Cup and the 2nd round of the MG Cup. Yes, we lost to another university side. We lost to Swansea Uni this time. Yeah, I just don't know what to say. If we go onto our home screen, you can see how everybody got on. This is one of our new gen signings that we did pick up. Big George Paprinik is how I'm going to butcher his name. Came out of Airbus. So, yeah, he's like a Boeing 747. 19 years of age. He's fast, 15 pace, 12 acceleration. I thought that could cause a little bit of damage at this level, and turns out it actually can. 13 goals, 7 assists for him. He's only 19. Hopefully will grow and develop into a good player. He's obviously 5-star potential, so fingers crossed he can go into pushing on for season number 5. We are now 84,000 in the red, which is a problem, guys. I'm not going to lie about it. We do have a little bit of net debt, as you can see, as a bank loan, partially because of that stadium move, which is, as I said, a big problem. We've got around 1,200 pounds in our wage budget, again, to really improve this team, because if you look, players whose contracts expire this season, you can kind of see I will be moving these 6 players on, so obviously there's going to be some improvements to be made in here for season number 5. So again, we've had another upheaval in the squad for season number 5. Lots of players coming in, and I do have to give a massive shout out to this guy, Nathan Hughes. I think he's going to be our absolute wonder kid this save. He's come out of Aberystwyth Town. They were in the same division as us last year. They actually got relegated, so I've gone out and picked up this guy. Looks like a really good player. Nice high vision. His passing could be better, but he's got 16 technique. He's got relatively high determination. He's fairly professional. I think he could, with additional game time, develop. He's been capped by Wales under 20 level. He's still 19 years of age. So with the 18 fitness, I think he could be a good player for us in the central midfield. So massive shout out to him. Again, we've raided Barry, Newtown, Pontypridd, much the exact same as we have done every season since we've been in the top flight. If we quick pick without restriction our best 11, looking at the star rating, this is how the team is balanced out right now. Again, we're a little bit top heavy, I will say. We've kind of picked up a couple of good players. McWhinney is another good little looking new gen. He's kind of creative. He kind of balances out Hughes in what Hughes doesn't have. He's better at passing, better off the ball, better first touch, so he might be a little bit better going forward. We picked him up from Newtown. We've got a couple of real players, actually. Charlie Pavey playing on the right hand side, former Aston Villa and then Newport County lad, and then another Kobe on the left hand side. Good crossing, good first touch, and he's pretty physical. Again, a good player for us to play on that right hand side. And then up front we've got Harry Wilson, again, former Fleetwood Town player. At this level, 10 finishing, 14 first touch, 10 off the ball. I think he's going to be an absolute goal scorer in terms of what he can actually bring, and he's only on £100 a week. You absolutely love to see it. In terms of the other competitions, though, we are starting to step things up now. We are expected to reach the quarterfinals of the MG Cup. Just want us to be competitive in the full-on Welsh Cup and then fight bravely again against relegation. They're not really having us this year. We take a look at things. We are predicted to finish in 10th again. 100 to 1 now, though. The odds are definitely closing. It kind of is almost anybody's who gets relegated. Hopefully it won't be us. I kind of want us to be battling out for those continental competition places finally in season number 5. But I will say, I'll show you the wages like for clubs at the end of this season, and we'll compare it to some other clubs maybe in England. Let's have a look and see how season 5 gets on. But the coefficient is slowly rising. 105th now. It's progressing. Okay, so now we really start to play this safe. We have finally qualified for a continental competition. However, we had to do it via the playoffs again. Last season we lost in the playoffs. This season we win on penalties after a 4-all draw with Bala Town. Yes, we have made it into the continental competitions. To be fair, they did score twice in the 93rd minute. Feels a bit FM cheesy, and then we beat them 11-10 on penalties, which is just absolutely ludicrous. This poor sod, Dom Jeffries, missed 2 penalties in the penalty shootout, which is just awful. He took one and missed it, and then he took another one and also missed it. So poor Jeffries from Bala Town, but we laugh at his expense and also go into the Conference League next season. We're knocked out in the 4th round of the Welsh Cup by Airbus, but we did win the MG Cup. It's a big season for us, actually. We took on TNS in that final. We scored a penalty in the 1st minute, and then nothing happened. Basically nothing happened. After that penalty on target, there were only 6 shots on target for the remainder of the game. Very uneventful, but Abergavenny win our 2nd trophy. Yes, you heard it. Yes, it does count. And we are up in the coefficient. Oh, sorry, that one's up in the coefficient. Boo, I don't care about the cups. I just care about the league. So we will be playing continental competition next season. If we take a look at the league table, you can see Connors Quay win the division again. TNS rebound a little bit. Cardiff Met go into the Conference League as well. So shout out the Cardiff Met uni team. And Abergavenny, we obviously do qualify for the Conference League as well. So this is where things really start to take a turn with this particular team. Obviously, if we take a look at the club info, we are still semi-pro. I keep asking to turn professional, but if you look at our finances, 118k in the red, we're 122k with a worth of net debt. It's not going well. We don't have any transfer budget. We've just got a bit of wage budget, but we're into the Europa Conference League, which is really, really good for a team this bad at the start of a save. So going into season 6, we have continental football at Abergavenny. Now, obviously, we're not going to be able to play at our own stadium. I believe we have to go to Rodney Parade, which is Newport County's ground, for these continental competition games. And if we go into the competitions, you can see we've already been out. We're already knocked out of the competition. We got into the 2nd qualifying round where we took on Tremoso, and they did beat us, which is rather sad. Now, the reason we've already played this is because it was in our pre-season, and we were still adding players to the team, but we get through the 1st round against this team from Kazakhstan. They are a pro team from Kazakhstan, so we actually do go past them. We beat them 4-2 at home, then lose 1-0 in Kazakhstan. Then we take on Tremoso. We draw 3-3 at home and then lose 3-1 away from home. We had one away supporter went there. How many people went to Kazakhstan? 1 away supporter. Shout out you, my guy. Yeah, it's rather disappointing. You can see, yeah, we played our home games at Rodney Parade. 1,443 is really, really good. I was really happy with that. So unfortunately, our Conference League adventure ends at the 2nd qualifying round, which is disappointing, but ultimately not to be surprised at, because we are still semi-pro. This is a quick pick of how the team is looking right now. I think this is probably the best the team has ever looked. We've got lots of bodies here that I'm really, really happy with. Aiden Haddo was our new one of our new signings to play defensive midfield. Former Celtic, former Wigan man, had actually played for TNS as well. So yeah, hopefully he can be a good body for us. Capped at under 19 level for Scotland, which is pretty good. And I'm thinking he can play either defensive midfield or centre back, which yeah, I feel this is the best team we've had going into any season yet, despite being out in the Conference League. We do have the 2 cup competitions again. They want us to be competitive despite winning this one last season. I'd like to retain it. You never know what's going to happen though. The board wants us to avoid relegation, surprise, in the league, and we are predicted to finish 7th this time around. We were 100-1 last season. We've dropped down to 50-1 now, so we are predicted to finish in 7th, and the team is looking pretty spicy. I think we could do a little bit of damage this season. We're going to have to see what we can do. Ultimately, I would love to get into those automatic places. So finishing in the top 2, not actually having to qualify for the European stuff via the league. Let's see what Season 6 has in store for us. So our goal was to finish in the top 2 places and get those automatic promotion spaces, and we've done just that. Yes, we finish in second with 56 points. We finish just above TNS, meaning we qualify automatically for the Europa Conference League. Now, some of these teams and leagues and stuff like that are still pretty poor. We are still a semi-pro team despite finishing in second. And the league is now almost inside the top 100. We are just a few places below the Vanarama National League. So yeah, Connors Key have won the league for the 3rd time in a row. Very much TNS are over and done with. I will say they've also turned professional, so massive shout out to them. That stadium looks quite nice. Well, that pitch looks quite nice at the very least. Looks a bit better than this because it's new and we don't have a photo for it yet. As you can see, we're still ones all over the place in terms of some of these facilities, but hopefully by being in terms of in some of this continental competition, guys, we can actually get ourselves a little bit better and kind of progress just a little bit. Massive shout out to Harry Wilson. He was our top goal scorer all season, 28 goals and 6 assists for him. Looks like a very good player. Really happy to have him in the team. I told you someone with his finishing level would be pretty good. We also picked up this guy as well, Neil Liddell from Liddell from Oxford, or from Airbus. He went from Oxford to Airbus. We picked him up from there, which was the division below. He's had a very good season for us as well. 16 goals, 9 assists for him. So we've got the makings of a really good team, despite the fact that he wants to leave at the end of his contract. If we go and take a look at our finances, though, we are in the positive now, finally. Obviously, being in these European competitions really does help. We are now having a plus balance of 632k. We've got rid of our net debt, and now this is where we really start to build for these final few seasons. Obviously, our wage budget's double. We've got a little bit of transfer budget as well, and £132,000. So hopefully we can start pushing this club forward. I'd love to turn professional. I don't know if it's going to happen just yet. So going into season number 7, I think we've had our best summer window ever. Obviously, this is going to happen now. We've had a little bit more money, but I've actually had a little bit more, which has enabled me to entice players to the club. We've actually sold our first player for some money as well. One of our centre-backs, Big Paul, he's gone to Solihull Moors for £800. Yes, 800 quid, but we have been able to bring in some really good players. The first two, I'm going to kind of highlight 2 of them. Kevin Popple comes in. He can play at central midfield. He can play at striker. I'm not sure where the AI or where our assistant manager is going to play him, but he's a former Arsenal youth prospect. Physically fantastic for the level, mentally and technically very good as well. Offers us a lot, but getting a former Arsenal youth prospect is really good. He's valued at £500 to 4k. Imagine how much I could sell players for $4 grand. And this is the other one, Leonardo Wolf. He is a former Leicester City player. He's got 16 jump and reach. He's 6'6", and he can head a football semi-good for the level. If that was a 10, I'd be ecstatic, but it's not. Annoyingly, it's a 9. But he looks very good as well. Everything you need in a centre-back, and the fact that he's an absolute giant. If we go into the team and quick pick without restriction, our best 11, this is how we are running. We've still got players like Hughes is still here in this team, but we are wholly, for the most part, a new gen focused team. Now, I will say about Kane Draper, he's our new goalkeeper who's come in, former Nottingham Forest player. He is real. I just don't have a face for him. Looks like a good prospect for us. And we also need to talk about Daniel Pitchford up front, former Blackburn man. He's got 14 finishing and 14 first touch. I think along with his 14 pace and acceleration, if this guy doesn't score at least 30 goals, I'll be very surprised. But we've got Welpdale as well as another good player, former Ipswich Town player, come through Belenenses, which is weird. And then also Jack Morehouse, again, another good player, former Manchester United player, former Wrexham player as well. So, yeah, you can definitely see we are stepping things up. And the overall level and ability of this team is infinitely better. Now, because it's the start of the season, we had to qualify for the Europa Conference League again, and we have annoyingly been knocked out this time in the League Path first qualifying round. So we didn't even get as far as we did last time. We took out, we went to, is that in Israel? Please tell me that's in Israel. It is in Israel. So we went to Israel with our 2 away fans this season, and we lost 3-1 in Israel. We won 2-1 at home. They brought 530 fans over to Newport for the game, but unfortunately we did bow out at the first qualification round, which is disappointing. But if we take a look at the team that finished top, they played in the Champions League and they went out to Sheriff on a penalty shootout. So disappointing for the league, but obviously being in the Champions League and stuff like that would be fantastic if at all we could get there. If you take a look at the competitions tab for the rest of it, though, the board wants us to reach the quarterfinals of the Welsh Cup. They are starting to back us a little bit more now, and they also want us to finish mid-table in terms of the league. If we take a look at the season preview, TNS are back on top in terms of that media prediction, and we are now predicted to finish in 5th, 18-1, so we are kind of in a shot with being part of that best of the rest. The competition has actually risen by 11 places. We are now 90th in terms of that reputation, which if I scroll down just a touch, you can see there we are kind of below some of the other leagues. Serie C, Serie C is one of the ones there. Sky Bet League 2 is all the way up there in 78th. So we've still got a lot of progress to go here, but ultimately it is moving in the right direction. So season 7, I want to start challenging for this title. I would love to win the title before the end, but again, we are still semi-pro. Only training once or twice a week is still a problem. We've still got ones all over the facilities. Let's see what we can do. So guys, it's taken 7 seasons, but Abergavenny are the best team in Wales. Yes, we did it. We finally did it. We finished with 71 points. I told you this team of new gens was capable of doing something. TNS come second, Cornerskey come in third, but Abergavenny are the most recent winners of the JD Cymru Premier. Yes, we have won it. We are top. Yes. I can't believe we've done it. We only lost 5 times all season. Haverfordwest, Airbus, Newtown, stuff like that. In terms of some of the other competitions, it is a league and cup double, ladies and gents, because the JD Welsh Cup is coming to Abergavenny as well. We win that final 1-0. Daniel Cox scoring in the 75th minute. Absolutely crushing it, did the boy. We've absolutely smashed it this season. League and cup double. I'm so happy. We got to the quarterfinals of the other cup. It basically means that I don't care about this Europa Conference League anymore, because we are going into the Champions League with this team. They were non-existent, basically. They were fighting it away in the second tier, in the Southern Division of the Welsh Football League system. We have come in, we're taking them to the top of the league, and now we will be playing Champions League football. We're going to have to qualify, but we will be playing Champions League football with Abergavenny. Now, if we go into our finances tab, you can see we've got 500k in our overall balance, 194,000 in terms of our transfer budget, and about 4 grand a week in terms of our wage budget as well. No net debt and all of that good stuff. And soon we are going to start really bumping things up. We've asked to improve our training facilities. That has already been done. So as you can now see, if we go onto the home screen, got training facilities of level 4, guys. 4 out of 20, pretty solid. And I'm hoping now we turn professional this season after winning the league in the off season. I'm hoping that's going to happen. So let's get into next season, where we enter the Champions League. So going into season number 8, and we finally actually spent some money on a player. Yes, we spent £10,500 on a player who cannot actually play for us because I'm an absolute moron. Andrea Pareda is our player. He's gone back out on loan to Romania. I thought he was going to be a really good prospect and a really good talent for us. Defensively, he looks really good. I thought he was going to be our new right back, basically. Considering his age, he's 22 years of age. He had already played 180 league matches or 187 league matches for his team before we bought him. And I didn't read when I was clicking through stuff, and he needs a work permit, and he is not getting one. So he has annoyingly gone back out on loan, which is really, really irritating. In terms of our best player that we have signed, we've signed Tom Owen here, former Manchester City, yes, new gen, former Cornerskey goalkeeper as well. He went out on loan to them. He's also been out on loan to Gillingham, and now he's our starting goalkeeper. He looks fantastic. He's the best goalkeeper we've had for the whole season. Sorry, Kane Draper, this guy's better. Aerial reach 6'2", better physicals as well. We've been out and we've kind of again improved massively to hopefully retain our title. If we quick pick without restriction our best 11, this is how the team is looking on a star star rating basis. Wolf has really improved quite nicely as well, alongside some of these others. We've also got this guy in up top now, Massimo Campbell. He comes in, a former Plymouth player, can play on the wing, can play up front. We are really stacked now. We've definitely got a lot of talent in this team, and I'm hoping we can go from strength to strength. Also, Lewis Jones, another Welsh lad coming in from Cardiff City. Much better than the level that we did have at the start. Shout out to the club though. We are still semi-pro, so despite winning the league, we still didn't have the finances to turn professional. So competing against some of these teams whilst being semi-pro is a absolute nightmare. If we take a look at the competitions though, we are in the Champions League. The Champions League qualification starts a lot later, to be honest, but we've got ourselves into the third qualifying round. Let's have a look at these so far. If we filter this just solely into the Champions League, you can see we took on this team here from, where on earth is that? Montenegro. There we go. We beat them 1-0 on aggregate. Then we took on this team from Slovenia. We drew 3-3 in Slovenia with our 9 away fans. We had how many away here? 17 away. Yeah, went there. And then the 9 away in Slovenia, beating them 1-0 back at Rodney Parade. And then we took on Dinamo Zagreb in Croatia with our 12 away fans, and we lost 3-1. Which is disappointing, but we still have the home leg. But obviously, because this is a qualification campaign in the third qualifying round, if we don't win, we will drop into the Europa League playoff round. And if we don't win that, we will go into the Conference League. So even if we lose the rest of our remaining competition matches in Europe, we will still be in the Conference League come the end of the season, I think. That is my thought. I hope I'm correct. But we shall see. The board wants us to reach the quarterfinals of both of the cup competitions now. And if we have a look at the season preview, despite winning the league last season, we are not the favourites to win the league this time around. We are predicted to finish in third despite being in the Champions League. 9-2 to win the division, which is our best odds yet. Flint Town getting promoted are now 15-2, so shout out to those boys. And we've now finally got 2 guys in the Media Dream 11. Leonardo Wolf is in there alongside Kevin Ratcliffe, our right back, former West Brom player. He is. So we're starting to turn the tide. We're starting to see everybody in Abergavenny blue. So let's see what happens. And let's see. Can we get into the Europa League, Europa Conference League proper? That would be so good for our bank balance. So guys, we actually fell off a little bit in season number 8. We were unable to retain our title. Connors Key go back to the top of the league, winning it for the 4th time in 5 seasons. They had 78 points, we had 76. We only lost twice all season, but unfortunately that was against TNS and Newtown, but we drew too many games. We drew 7 games. They won 25 of theirs. Shout out to those boys. They absolutely smashed it. They go back to the top of the tree as well, so they are the best team in Wales, and we are closing in on Sky Bet League 2, so shout out to those boys. Sally Che also there as well, the Belgian National First Division as well. So we are closing things down. Obviously, we did lose to Dinamo Zagreb. No real surprises there. We went out in the third qualifying round. You saw that we were already 3-1 down. Well, we lost the game at home 1-0 to go out to the team from Croatia. That meant we dropped into the Championship playoff in the Europa League, where we took on Bate Borisov. Yes, we took on Bate, and despite a 1-1 draw, we did go out. We lost the home game at 1-0. So annoyingly, we did go out of the Europa League, which did mean I was correct. We did drop into the Europa Conference League, into that league phase, which did not go very well at all. We lost 4 games, drew 2. We drew with the team that I can never say in Serbia and Maccabi Tel Aviv. So let me just filter these down so you can kind of see just our European exploits in all of the tabs. There we go. Let's add the Conference League as well. So you can see our European run, not the best, but cash is king. So the fact that we won in a couple of rounds of the Champions League qualifying and even got into the 3rd round is fantastic. Plus these extra league fixtures that we did play, these 6 down here, obviously really helps improve the club's financial situation. As you can see, £2 million in the balance, £2.1 million in the overall balance. Our transfer budget is 800k. Our wage budget is over double what it was. The debts and loans, we've got a £4 million debt and loan, because if I go in here and go into the club facilities and stuff, we are due to move to the 12,765,000 seat Abergavenny Stadium in 2032. So in 2 seasons time, right at the end of this, it's basically going to be our massive improvement. We are trying to improve stuff off the field as well. Our training facilities are now level 6. Our youth facilities have gone from from level 1 to level 4, and our youth recruitment has gone from level 1 to level 3 as well. We have actually made a few transfers out as well, and a couple of transfers in, but there's not really much to write home about. The team is looking pretty stacked. Daniel Pitchford, the Irishman that I did mention previously, he's been a goal-scoring god for us, basically. He scored 33 this season. He's 24 years of age now. He did only get 11 last season, but he got 21 this season in the league, so absolutely smashing it. He was our top average assister as well. And Massimo Campbell, doing the business, the former Plymouth Argyle man. He's wanted, but lots of our players are now on a little bit of coin, which is good, because we are now slowly improving stuff. Obviously, they are doing the new stadium, doing the youth facilities, and we are turning professional, ladies and gentlemen. In this season, we are turning professional. I am absolutely buzzing for it, because we are now professional. It means I can actually now do training every day of the week, and all of this stuff like that. We can actually get analysis sessions in, and hopefully it allows us to go from strength to strength. The pennies are coming in and coming up clutch. We've got 2 more seasons to go. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what players we can get in and transfer deals that we can do for season number 9. So lots of movement for season number 9, and we've actually started buying and selling players, which is absolutely ludicrous if you think where we were at the start of this save. Kevin Ratcliffe has gone to Luton Town. He was our star right back. He's gone to Luton for some reason. Out of all teams, he's gone to the team that we are using on Twitch, twitch.tv, twitch.tv/Gaming UK. We are doing an FM14 save with Luton, so you should come and check that out. And we've loaned out another Andre guy, because the Romanian, because he still can't get a bloody work permit, which is making me sad. And Kane Draper, our backup goalkeeper, is now gone to Derby County. Not for massive fees, only made 11.5k, but money's money at the end of the day. We picked up this guy, Will Sharp, from Flint Town. He looks like a very good player for us. 16 jump and reach as well, 6'2", nice and well-rounded. Looks exactly what I'd want in a defender. We also picked up Chris Lloyd as well from TNS, a defensive midfielder. Relatively all right tackling, solid marking and stuff like that, despite being 5'6". But we continue to bring in players from Premier League clubs, from Championship clubs. If we quick pick without restriction our best 11, this is how the team is looking this season. Obviously, lots of changes and lots of movement around. We've also brought in this guy up front, Ben Saunders, again, another good striker or wing option, basically, can play in a number of positions. Former Brighton player, been at Birmingham for a bit as well. Looks like a good prospect. We've also got a couple of these players like Mark Grayson, who I don't know, I've not touched on before. He plays on the right hand side as an inverted winger. Again, nice high abilities, physicals and stuff like that. Can cross a ball again, which makes him a real threat at this level if you can actually cross to somebody. But as I said, we are a very much new gen heavy team. We've only got one real player, which is Luca Hall, in the team. But yeah, things are moving pretty darn nicely. Because we didn't win the league, we are into the Conference League qualification yet again. No ability to drop down, which is disappointing. If we go into our schedule, you can kind of see we've knocked out a couple of teams already. A team from Luxembourg there, we beat them relatively comfortably. We beat Rosenborg as well, as which is really, really surprising. The team from Norway, they are definitely much better than us. We took on Dynamo Minsk as well, and we beat them. And now we come up against Victoria Pleasant, and I don't know if we're going to do the job here. I think this could be the end of our road. But 3 qualification rounds is really, really nice for the overall balance and everything like that. And the fact that we are still really trying to improve everything. They rejected our improved training facilities, which is annoying, but they are improving our youth facilities. So we are slowly moving things up as much as we can off the field. In terms of the competitions, though, we are expected to reach the semi-finals now of the 2 cups, and we are expected to win the league. That is our board expectation now. We've got some money. We are moving in the right direction. We are expected to win the league. We are now evens to win the league. It's the first time that we've actually been here. A massive shout out to Paul Mullin, former Wrexham man. He is now the manager of Airbus. So shout out to Paul Mullin. You absolutely love to see it. The blue dots in here, along with Owen, are our players. So we can really see that this Media Dream 11 is definitely much more about us now. I want this title back in season number 9. I want it. I want it now. Let's go get it. So guys, what a crazy season number 9 was. We are back on top. We've actually managed to get our title back. There are now 3 professional teams in Welsh football, which I absolutely love to see. We finished top of the tree again. Not a massive points return, really. 71 points. We win the league by 3 points. TNS have really fallen off this year, I have to say. And yeah, Paul Mullen didn't work at Airbus. They got relegated and he got fired, which is disappointing. But I said it was a whirlwind of a season. And why was that? Well, if we go onto the competitions tab, you can see we are winners of the Welsh Cup yet again. We win this one 4-2 in that final against Swansea Uni. Ben Saunders going off with an absolute hat-trick. You love to see it. We did actually as well get to the final of the MG Cup, where this time we kind of got battered. Jeffrey Boney scored a hat-trick in this particular final. We were kind of hanging with them. I don't think the scoreline is reflective of how close the game was, but disappointing that we got banged in that final, but is what it is. But we did get to the round of 16. Yes, the round of 16 in the Conference League, where we got knocked out by a team from Serbia. Now, if I go into our fixtures tab and have a look at the Conference League, you can kind of see how we did get. We did get past Victoria Pleasant with our 7 fans in the crowd. 7 fans, man, I just don't understand. We draw 1-1 away from home. They scored an equaliser in the 94th minute. We bring them back to Rodney Parade, where we beat them 3-1. Then in our games, we took on a team from Baku. I don't know where this team is from. It's from Poland. Okay, cool. A couple teams from Poland then, yeah, a couple teams from Poland. Yeah, where are you from? Kazakhstan. And then we took on Hajduk Split. We beat Red Star as well, which is absolutely ludicrous. We really shouldn't be beating teams like Red Star, which meant we went into the knockout phases. We took on a team here. I can not say this, but they are from Croatia. They are a very good side. We lose 2-0 in Croatia with our 13 fans. And then we beat them 3-0 at Cardiff City Stadium, boys. Yes, we've upgraded. We're no longer at Newport. We're at Cardiff City Stadium. Was that the case for all of our games? It was as well. Cardiff City Stadium, you know. Fair. Then we took on this team from Serbia. It's the one that I can never pronounce as well. And they battered us. We lost 2-1 at home. We lost 4-1 in Serbia. Rather disappointing, but a European run. A European run with a team from Wales. Abergavenny absolutely crushing it. We're on top in terms of the league and stuff like that. And Ben Saunders, if I go onto our home screen, got 44 goals in all competitions. The lad from Brighton absolutely crushed it. Mark Grayson with 19 assists from him as well. I called him out at the start of the season. So we are going to go into our 10th and final season. Off the field, we've got 8 in terms of training facilities, 6 in terms of youth, 9 in terms of youth recruitment, and 6 in terms of junior coaching. We've not really had any good new gens come through our own system, but we are moving things in the right direction. In terms of the finances, though, the overall balance of the club, we've got 4 million in the overall balance, £1 million in terms of transfer budget, and 31k in terms of our wages, because we've sold a couple more players as well. David Byrne left to Waterford and stuff like that, but this is going to be a big fun season as we re-enter the Champions League for our 10th and final season. So guys, just because we had £1 million to spend, that doesn't mean we had £1 million to spend on player transfers. I've continued what has worked so far by wheeling and dealing, getting in lots of players on free transfers. Andre, our Romanian, our experiment has finally ended. I've sold him for a loss, 5.75k. I couldn't get rid of him. I couldn't get him a work permit, so I just sold him away. It's disappointing. I thought it was a gamble that would have paid off eventually. I thought he would have got himself a work permit, but alas, he did not. If we quick pick without restriction our best 11, you can see some of these players in here. The unregistered ones, they are new players to the team. Charters is a very good player to play at right back for us. Looks like a very well-rounded player for the level. Again, very good physically. We've signed Mark Hughes. No, not that one. This one come out of Lincoln City. He again looks pretty darn good. Jaden Heskey comes in as another central midfielder for us, obviously former Manchester United, Man City lad. Lee Knox comes in as well, another Doncaster boy. We're doing quite well here. Brett Taylor is another player, another option for us. You can kind of see the cast-offs from the Football League that we are bringing in, and I think this guy, Matty, I'm not even going to say about that guy's last name. He came in from Chelsea this year, 14 off the ball, really nice physically, 15 composure, 12 finishing, 12 first touch, 10 dribbling. This guy's going to bag. Now, I know he's going to bag. I'm confident. I think he's going to be an absolute baller, and I know he's going to bag because he's already scored 3 in the Champions League. And the fact that he's at the Under-20s World Cup with England leads me to believe that he is going to be a baller, hopefully, for us at the very least. But this is the best the team's looking. We're fantastic. Tom Owen does want to leave. He wants to move to a bigger club, but he can do that after this season. If we take a look at the competitions, though, we do have the Champions League. I'll talk about that one in a sec. We are expected to win the league, reach the semi-finals in the 2 cups. If we go and take a look at the Premier Division, we are expected to win the title. We are 6-4 favourites now. The dark blue without the yellow is our players, so that we've got a smattering of players in here along with the goalkeeper, so we are the favourites to win win the division, and hopefully we do go and do that. But let's talk Champions League for a split second. We've got through the first round. We actually had 200, look at this, 210 away fans in Belarus? Yeah, in Belarus, where we lose 2-1, but we beat them back at home at Rodney Parade. It seems like when we're actually in the proper games, we cannot play at Rodney Parade. We play them at Cardiff City Stadium. We took on Maccabi Tel Aviv. We beat them 2-0 at Rodney Parade. Big Matty getting his first 2 Champions League goals there, and then he scored again in Israel as we take out Tel Aviv with our 3 away fans, and then we go into the 3rd qualifying round. So that's basically, again, guaranteed ourselves a minimum of Conference League football for season number 10. If you still watch this video to this point, thank you so much. Let's simulate season 10 and see how we get on. So guys, going into season number 10, this has been fantastic. This has been the best save that I've enjoyed for, honestly, the longest time. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this journey with Abergavenny as well. If you take a look at things, we unfortunately did get to the Champions Path playoff. In the Champions League, we did go out to Dinamo Zagreb. They seem to be a thorn in our side in this particular instance. We lost 5-1 on aggregate to them, which did mean we did drop into the Europa League, though. So much better than I was expecting here. We'll talk about that run getting to the quarterfinal in just a second. We win the Welsh Cup, as you would expect, 5-0 in that final. A hat-trick for Grayson, a double for Matty. Absolutely annihilated this team. It's kind of not fair at this point. We've won the Welsh Cup the last 4 seasons. And we win the MG Cup as well, beating Newtown 3-1 in that final. 2 for Kareem Burton and 1 for Brett Taylor, seeing us comfortable victors. Again, disappointing that we conceded our only shot on target against Newtown, but it is what it is. If we take a look at the league, we are league winners again, 78 points. We win the league by 20 points, was kind of coasting towards the end, plus 59 in terms of our goal difference. And if we go onto the home screen, you can see Matty scored 45 goals. I told you he was going to be a baller. Happy to be proved right. I know what I look for in a striker. He's now wanted by Swindon Town, but we'll have to see what happens there. If we take a look at a few other things as well off the field, we now have 8 in terms of our training and youth facilities, 14 for junior coaching, 12 for youth recruitment. We are continuing to improve stuff. If we take a look at our facilities and stuff as well, we are imminently about to move into a brand new stadium, the Abergavenny Stadium, and we are really starting to ramp things up here. And if we go and take a look at the finances, you can see £11 million in our overall balance. You would have £5.7 million to spend if you were to pick up this save, and then we do have double our wage budget as well. But let's talk about the Conference League, Europa League, and the Champions League run-in, and then we'll pop the Europa League in there as well. So obviously, as I said, we did go out to Dinamo Zagreb, which meant we went into the Europa League phase. We took on Rheindorf, a team from Austria that I've not heard of. Torino, where we lost to Torino. We beat Celtic in this run, which is absolutely huge. Lose to PA, okay. Then we beat Maccabi Tel Aviv, again, the team that we actually knocked out in the Champions League path. They got into the Europa League as well, so shout out them. We took out Utrecht as well, and then we lost to Nice and Galatasaray. We beat Young Boys. We beat them 3-1 away from home. 20 away supporters go into this one, and then beat them at home, 2-1, I say at home, at the Cardiff City Stadium. We then beat Stuttgart. Yes, I cannot believe that we beat Stuttgart. We beat them 3-1, 2 from Brett Taylor and 1 from Braden Sinclair Smith in the home leg. And then we drew 2-2 in Stuttgart in Germany, comfortably seeing us go through actually 5-3 on aggregate with our 30 away fans there. Then we take on Nice. We lose 3-1 away from home, 28 away fans. That's the biggest amount we've had all season, all save. Lifetime at Abergavenny for away Europa League ties, I would imagine. Then unfortunately we drew 0-0 at home, which is disappointing, but ultimately Nice are better than us, and they did get to the final, where annoyingly they lost to Feyenoord. So it could have been slightly different, but this has been the rebuild of Abergavenny. It's been the worst team in Wales. We were in the South Division first season, then we moved into the North Division. We got ourselves promoted 10th, 5th, 4th, 2nd, 1st, 2nd, 1st. Lots of trophies on offer. I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I will say I am working on a worst team in Ireland rebuild. If you did want to pick up this save, you can do so via the links in my description. That'll take you to the Discord. All my saves are posted there for all the rebuilds, and if you do like the rebuild content, check out this playlist. It's all the rebuilds I've done in FM23 so far.